The graph writer, the breakdancer, the MC, the DJ, all hip-hop elements and all titles held by my next guest. New album just dropped, Hip Hop Frontline. He's DJ K. Slay, and I want to welcome him to the library with Tim Monaco. Welcome, man. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, what's going on, bro?
Sure. I want to kind of talk about your earlier, just real quickly talk about your earlier art. You in the graph community, it's kind of important to me because I went to the high school that the Graffiti Hall of Fame, the wall is actually, is its yard. I want to talk about like how important was graph to you, or is graph to you in terms of hip hop, and how important is graph for the hip hop community?
I mean, graffiti is one of the 5 elements within hip hop, so it's just as important as every other element. You know, from the DJ to the MC to the breakdancer to having knowledge of self. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people try to separate it and say it's its own entity, but DJing is its own entity. MCing is its own entity. A breakdancing or dancing is its own entity, and so is having knowledge of self. Every entity that is a component in the culture has been around longer than hip-hop. But hip-hop is a way that urban kids express themselves and had a voice, a platform to voice themselves, and it wasn't about the money. It was just something that we lived day to day. So those were things that we lived every day, mm-hmm. and that formulated hip hop. So every element is just as important as the other, no matter what.
As mentioned, the Graffiti Hall of Fame on 106th and Park is my high school, and I remember, being.
You mean junior high school?
Well, it was both. So I graduated in 1997.
Oh, that's why. Yeah. Well, I went there in. Actually, in 78 and 79.
Oh,
I was
nice.
in junior. It was junior high school 13. It was never high school back then, so maybe it changed.
Yeah, it changed to. So there was a school called Central Park East Secondary School.
Oh, okay.
And that was from like 1988 to I think 2000 and something, and then it kind of it dismantled itself. And so I was there prior to now there's AstroTurf on the courtyard.
When they turned it into something else. I don't know what to do.
I want to talk to you about that wall. I mean, what's the importance of that wall to hip hop? But also, what was it like when you were kind of doing your pieces on that wall? Back then to like what is it like now?
All right. So to give you the science behind the Graffiti Hall of Fame, it was actually started with myself, Ray Rodriguez, a brother named Deuce, Volcan, and Part 1. Graffiti Hall of Fame first started in Park East High School on 105th Street between 2nd and 3rd Avenue. And we had Butch 2 had pieces in there, Case 2, Rest in Peace, Lady Pink, Mayor, Doze, Scene from TC5, Volcan. And once it got 2 filled up, Ray Rodriguez was the community organizer. We had to find another space that would be accurate to get all the artists at. And he put in a proposal because, like I said, he was a community organizer, and the city approved him and the school approved him to do that schoolyard. Then paint was a problem, so we put in a proposal to Red Devil Paint Company, and Red Devil approved giving us as much cans as we could take because it's an expiration date on spray paint, which a lot of people don't know, where the cans start exploding, mm-hmm. I guess. So they gave us all the paint we could take. And that's when I did the outside wall. I did the actual letters that said Graffiti Hall of Fame, and I said it was a special community project, and I shouted out Red Devil Paint. Volcan did the plasmatic piece, and Deuce did the Smurf houses.
Wow.
That was 1981, so that's how the whole Graffiti Hall of Fame started. As far as painting in the schoolyard, it was iconic to me because, like I said, I went to that school, so I used to look out the window and be doodling. And, I remember seeing the part pieces down there and K56 and Zero, and like it was just like, monumental to me to finally like live out my dream of being a graph artist and coming back to paint in my neighborhood. In the schoolyard for the school I went to that I used to look out the window at.
Right. One thing I really always remember is that when people, when artists were, I don't know were they commissioned or not, when they were doing their pieces while we were, playing football in the yard or something, the pieces were never, there's always this great respect, I think, in the graph community, never to write over someone's piece. Do you think that, especially with but then I've gone by the wall, and I've seen, people write over stuff. Is that mean is something that's being missed? I mean, is that respect that's not there anymore? Has it changed, or is that just kind of like one-off kind of a-holes doing whatever?
Yeah, well, it's always been idiots. Even back in the days, it's always been an idiot or two that, I give silly toy, no talented guys that just look to destroy things to get notoriety,
Right.
And so I just feel like it's just somebody being silly.
Right.
It's not even like they have a beef with a person. They just want to do it just to do it. Jealousy, I guess,
So here's my ultimate. How do you become someone doing graph under Dez, and then how does Dez become DJ K Slay?
Well, I mean, anybody that knew me, which most of the graph artists from the East Side and even from the Bronx, like G-Man, PGA, they all knew that the same time that I was doing graph, I used to DJ. The only thing is that, like I said, everything I did, we did not do it looking to get rich and famous. It was just like, this is something, it was a hood thing. This is our thing. This is what we wanted to do, and that's what I was doing at the time. But Henry Chalflon caught a lot of the images of me DJing when I was 16, 17 years old in the parks in Harlem and the Bronx, and as well as he caught my graffiti pieces on the subway. So like I said, hip-hop is something you live. I was living it then, and, as time evolved, I just decided to stop playing the street game because, like I said, there was no money involved when we were doing that back then, so we got involved in other negative aspects of life, and after I got sick and tired of being sick and tired of doing stupid shit, I decided to go back to one of my first loves, which was, DJing, like one of the elements of hip-hop, and take it as serious as I took the negativity that I've done in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And it started to work for me. So I was like, okay, you know what? This is maybe something I could do. Now, I really was on a mission just to be able to, keep myself afloat, pay my bills, and feed my family. I wasn't really trying to be this big DJ K Slay, but unfortunately, when you're good at doing what you do, it's going to manifest into what it is. And it's just that simple. I just went as hard with positivity as I went with the negativity, and step by step, I got to where I'm at.
I want to, before we get to your new album, I want to turn just really quickly to, to one of your earlier works, the Sweet Sweeps Volume 1. Street Sweeper, I'm sorry.
Street Sweeper Volume 1, yeah.
The track, The Champions, features yourself, obviously, DJ Clue, Kid Capri, Funkmaster Flex, Tony Touch, Ron G, and more. And what's great about it, as you're mentioning, it highlights the DJ. And what you do is that you have some of these DJs rhyming. I know it was a while ago, but if you could kind of take me into how that track was created and why use to highlight the DJ, why get them to, I guess, rhyme versus maybe individuals taking like a turn cutting up?
Because the DJ is the backbone of the culture. Always has been and always will be in my eyes. I mean, even from day one, it was us that had to put the record to the needle and keep the 10-second or 12 or 3-second beat going back and forth in order to put an MC to rhyme out in the park. So I always felt we had a story, or we wanted to talk our shit on some time or whatever, and we wasn't really being heard. And before, it was like every MC had a DJ until it went to shit. That wasn't even, they got instant replays now, and the guy who's DJing, you don't even know who he is.
Right.
So I felt like this was like a record where we could gloat and, put our cloud out there and do what we wanted to do,
Mm-hmm.
So that's what that was about.
On the same album, something that you do when you rhyme, it's I believe it's the first track. You rhyme about how you were a kid and you went back and forth from Harlem to the Bronx. What impact do you think these areas, if looking at the impact that hip hop has had on you, what impact do you think these areas kind of had on you as a hip hop artist and someone who is one of the forefronts of this culture?
Well, like I said, being a part of the culture, is life experience, and you speaking, you're telling your story.
Mm-hmm.
And Harlem, the Bronx, of course, Bronx is where hip hop began, but any bridge from Harlem to the Bronx is no more than 2.5, 3 minutes tops.
That's true.
Going across, if that. So whatever was going on in the Bronx, you pretty much could say was going to be going on in Harlem in a matter of minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of, intertwined with one another. So me having the best of both boroughs, I was able to see everything that was really, really going on in the culture from the best that was doing it, and was able to, emulate it in my own way, in my own style, and do what I do. So it was definitely a win-win for me.
Mm.
Being able to see the best, do the best, in order to become one of the best.
Turning to the new album, Hop Frontline, the first track is "Back to Bars," featuring Nino Man, Van Du, My Son, Fred the Godson, Locksmith, Jon Connor, and Joell Ortiz. An incredible track. But for you, real quickly, what is it about each of these artists that say bars to you?
All of them are lyrical in their own way, have their own style. It's a difference between a rapper and an MC. Anybody can rap. When you hear the trappers and what the other guys call the mumble rappers or whatever, and no disrespect to them, those is rappers. They just getting on there saying whatever they want to say, the money, the drugs, women, hoes, bitches, punks, whatever. And, that's what they doing. But when it comes to lyricists, not saying that some lyricists don't incorporate some of the things, but a lyricist can teach, it can educate, it can uplift, it can make a person think, it can change a person's life.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? Everybody doesn't have that gift, and some guys on that record all have that gift.
Mm.
They're true MCs, and if you put them in a contest or a battle or something, like, they're going to stand their ground.
Mm-hmm.
It's more artists out there, but those, unfortunately, were the 7 artists that I grabbed just for that intro right there.
The track "Against All Odds," which features the Lox and the Outlaws.
It's Against All Ops.
Against All Odds.
Okay.
The beat, I think, is incredible. It's church bells, horns. It's just kind of amazing. How did you know the Lox and the Outlaws would kind of do justice to this beat?
Well, I'm the type of person, when I hear tracks, I automatically line up who will be good on it in my mind, because I've been doing this music thing for so long, and I've been dealing with a lot of artists, and I know what artists sound good on what and who won't. And I felt like this was a track that, it should have came sooner, unfortunately, but it doesn't matter. Like, these was guys that people should have heard rhyme together, and I wanted to make it happen. It was like something personal for me to make it happen. And that's why it's called Against All Ops, because in our world, op is the opposition. Like, street term, that means somebody you got beef with.
Mm.
And these guys used to have beef. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But they don't have beef anymore. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I titled the track Against All Ops. And just on the hook, letting people know that, we're not each other's enemy. Like, know who the enemy is. We're not each other's enemy, Right,
definitely. The 24 Hours featuring Papoose, Bun B, and Saigon, it asks kind of the MC, what would they do if they had 24 hours to save hip-hop, right?
Yeah.
Why at this moment do you think hip-hop, or does hip-hop need to be saved? Do you think it's in danger with, like, culture vultures and stuff of dying, or is there something else,
I think it's in danger of the culture vultures. You know what I'm saying? That are just grabbing anybody that they see they can make a quick dollar off of, without caring about if them educating themselves about the culture, about their deals, what they signing, their points, their royalties, and having longevity in this game. It's almost like you grabbing these kids, you're chewing them up, you're spitting them out. You're not making any stipulations with them, letting them know, hey, you're not going to run around and shoot and kill people. You know what I'm saying? Or if you get caught in any trouble, we're going to drop you. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to deal with you, whatever. Like, so it's opening the door for a kid that you take it straight off the street, that knows street activity, who has an opportunity to change his whole life. To him changing his life, but not changing the ways and actions that they have. So the only thing you're doing is really giving a young brother more money to do more stupid shit.
Right.
And then when they get jammed up or whatever, you turn your back on them. You leave them. Leave them for dead. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I mean, as to save hip-hop is saving the younger generation who's supposed to carry the torch, and as well is letting them know what's the difference, you know what I'm saying, in the music. Like, don't just grab a hook and say, okay, we got a big record, and make them take another 10 songs that ain't worth anything and just throwing their project out. Let them make some quality projects, make some meaningful projects, make some meaningful songs. Like, everything, life isn't one big party. It's a lot of serious situations going on in the world. So it's just like, it's no more artist development. It's all just grab and take. That's all it is. You know what I'm saying? And I just think some of these people need to be, brought to justice, and some of the real artists who know what they're doing and the real CEOs need to show the younger generation what they need to do step by step, man, so they could have an opportunity to be around for a while, even be able to live freely and enjoy their money and their life, you know?
When the track like 24 Hours and what you just said, obviously with the MC, obviously I understand what they're saying because they're using words, right? How do you, as the DJ, kind of get that point across, but, as a DJ?
In this time and age, that's the best way it works when you use a lyricist, because in the club, people don't like to hear no cut or scratch no more, whatever. It's different. People just want to party. Like I said, the whole game is dumbed down, and I think it's dumbed down because of drug usage. I mean, if you're high on some shit and you're spaced out, kind of, you know what I'm saying?
Freaks you out.
Throws you somewhere else, you understand, that you probably don't really want to see. And I understand that, because when I was young, I was zoned out, when I was a kid, a teenager. So I understand that. But it's just like now, opposed to back then where we celebrated the hustlers, these cats are celebrating the fiends. But we couldn't play songs, as you know, that had popping that Molly or sipping that syrup, or like back then you couldn't play a record like Snip the Bag of Dope. The word dope would be edited. Smoke the Bag of Angel Dust. Angel Dust would be edited.
Right.
So right now it's just like the drug words aren't drugs. It's not taboo no more. It's like they go through freely, and it almost like it sends a message that it's okay. You know?
Yeah.
Like, even if you said I shot that motherfucker in the face, that whole line was going to be muted.
Right.
He was going to get instrumental. You know what I'm saying? Like, right now, it'd be like, I shot that mother in the face. But you can still understand. You understand?
Yeah.
It's just like, it's no penalty or repercussions to anything that's being done right now in the culture, as far as protecting the younger brothers and sisters from falling into a trap thinking that it's cool. That's my biggest problem. Now, I know, like I said, this is people's life experience, and I'm not telling them not to talk about their life. It's just their life. It's their experience. But if you're going to send somebody to buy some drugs,
right.
Well, can you make a record about the rehab, too, instead of to get some help?
Right.
I mean, if you shoot somebody in your record, you killed 20 people on 8 records, can you send the ambulance or the other one? Like, you understand? Like, if you're going to knock somebody down, they some kind of provision to pick them back up somehow.
Right. Definitely.
That's my thing.
I want to turn to the track I Do This on the Regular featuring Kevin Gates. I think it's one of those great examples of you knowing your artist, because what you do is that you really kind of use Kevin's voice as another instrument. Can you kind of talk about the creation of this track, and how did you know that Kevin Gates' voice could be like kind of essentially replace some of the beat that you might have put underneath another artist?
I'm gonna keep it 100% truthful with that.
Okay.
I had a different song I did with Kevin Gates. And he hit me and said, "Yo, Slay, I just recorded this other track with Patrick Carmelo. Scrap the other one. This one fits your album better." I'm like, "Kev, man, come on." He said, "Slay, trust me, what I'm talking about in your audience." And when I heard it, I was like, "Oh, shit. Yeah, he's right." You understand what I'm saying? So, like, that was all his creation and doing on that one track there. Every other track I put together from the beginning, but that one joint right there, we did one joint. What was the name? I think Molly Raw. I forgot the name of the other joint we did. I thought that was the producer that was track. But that joint there, when he sent that, I was like, oh my God, like this here is a must. Okay, we going with this.
And so, has that has that happened before in kind of your career of making albums or mixtapes that kind of example has happened where an artist has convinced you enough to kind of replace his or her own work?
Yeah, I mean, every now and then, very rare that something like that could happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember I sent Eminem a beat for my second album, and he wound up sending this joint back with him and Obi Trice going back to back. And I was like, oh my God, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, he did the beat as well, because M did beats. I was like, sheesh. Okay, forget that track. We're going to use this right here. Like, you understand, like that. So there's been a few occasions where that happened.
I think you obviously look throughout your career. You look at your mixtapes, you look at your albums, and what's incredible is that you've worked with everyone from every region of the United States, right? How do you balance that? How do you balance the artist's style with your style and keep it true to your style? And when you have like a Bun B and you, or a Lil Wayne and you, or Joell Ortiz and you, like, how do you balance all those styles?
Well, at the end of the day, it's just a matter of your ear and just knowing what goes where and how to make everything flow. Like, when I do my project, I like for it to be a nice, smooth flow for every record behind each other, So it's kind of like you just got to know your artist. You got to listen to what they're saying, and keep everything in one mood and slide to the other mood where nobody want to even really click to change the track button,
Right.
It's just about really knowing the music and knowing the artist, and that's how it always works,
As mentioned, you've worked with all these artists. Has there ever been like and not to say you had low expectations about an artist, or just, you could have been just like, there's just no expectations, but not in a negative way. Was there ever an artist that kind of completely blew you away, that it kind of surprised you when they got on one of your tracks?
I'm not gonna lie. Like, honestly, everybody that I deal with, I kind of already know what I expect from them. It's like nobody I really underestimate, or overestimate. I mean, it's always going to be times when people get on and go a little harder than you expected, or whatever. Right. But, like, honestly, I haven't been disappointed. And if somebody did lay a verse sometime, if I felt like they could do better, the easiest way I would tell them is that, so-and-so went kind of hard on the track, man. You might want to go a little harder, and that'll make them want to, go back in and, tighten up, That's like one of the little tricks I pull. But other than that, everybody always pretty much do what I expect them to do.
In the day of, you went from the mixtapes, physical tapes, to now, obviously, we're streaming now. Do you have a preference of over streaming versus physical mixtapes and CDs you've done, or, does it just, as long as the music gets out there, it gets out there?
Man, I don't like that streaming shit. Like, I think it's bullshit. Real talk. It's cheating. Like, how the hell, I mean, I come from the era where you had to earn what you got.
Right.
How the hell did it get to me listening to something equate to a plus for the plat? So you mean that's just like, okay, you gotta have like 1 billion streams to go platinum, right? But what if a half of the billion didn't like the record?
Right. Good
like
point.
It should be a click button, like, don't like, and it be judged by that, which is still bullshit. You understand? Because they didn't actually buy the record. But if that's the game they want to play, fine. But if 1 billion people, let me just be an asshole. What if 1 billion people don't like the record that they just happen to stop and listen to?
Right.
You get rewarded for that?
Right.
Like, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, what kind of shit system is this? Now, I understand it must have been, well, look, people are stealing music. Let's find a way to make money off what people are taking and getting for free. But now you done destroyed the whole go out and buy the album concept. Because why would somebody pay for something unless you're a really super duper fan and really like to collect music? But why somebody to go buy a product that they can listen to for free?
Right.
Then y'all made where it's this stupid billion number or something for an artist to go platinum, and then the dollar equivalent, like a tenth of a penny or whatever retarded shit they got off the street. It's just ridiculous, yo. I just feel like it was another way for them to fuck artists over without them really knowing how much they're supposed to get paid in exact, but just streaming bullshit. It's bullshit.
Have you ever kind of, I know there's been some artists who try to, who tried to, it's as you mentioned, it's like, and if someone's going to steal it, might as well put it on the stream because then you could get at least something out of it, right? Has there ever been a time where you've tried to maybe be resistant to putting your stuff on the stream services, or is this like a game that you have to play?
At this point, it's like a game you got to play, because regardless to whether you do or not, somebody's going to rip it and put it on YouTube.
Right, it's true.
They're going to put it on the blogs are going to put it on their site. Right? It's going to get out there regardless. It's going to get on these other streaming sites and websites and all that. It's like impossible. It's like testing in the wind, man.
That's a good point. No, that's a good point. I just have one more question for you. You obviously, as mentioned, you represent all the elements of hip hop, and we're at a stage where, because of the popularity that I think around the world, the MC is the kind of the ambassador, right, of hip hop. But if it was up to you, if you were to kind of choose between graph, DJ, breaking, MCing, knowledge of self, what one element would you want to kind of be the ultimate ambassador to hip hop?
Knowledge of self. It has to be knowledge of self, because you have to know. Knowledge is know. Like, if more people out here in this industry knew the game, knew the business, knew where the culture came from, they'd be more intelligent businessmen and more successful people. There's a bunch of dummies in this industry. Half of them don't know who the legends is. They don't even know why they're making this money. They don't have no idea what their contracts say. They don't look into it. It's a bunch of dummies. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They're ignorant to certain facts of the game. And I believe that knowledge is infinite. Like, you should know anything that you get involved in. You should know the ups and downs, the ins and the outs of the business. That's the way you become successful. Don't wait until 10 years from now that you want to start crying about this guy ripped you off or I'm broke because this. That's because you did not take the time to do the knowledge and learn the business. Knowledge comes first.
Hmm. It's true. He's DJ K. Slay, new album, Hop Frontline. K. Slay, it's an honor to talk to you on The Library with Tim Monaco. Thank you so much for doing this.